About the cyber security. First, we'll study what is cyber security. So, cyber security are the security standards which enable organization to practice safe security technique to minimize the number of successful cyber security attacks. Cyber security are basically used to prevent the attacks which are on your computers. Cybersecurity refers to the technologies and processes designed to protect the computer networks and data from the unauthorized access, vulnerability, and attacks delivered via the internet by cyber criminals. Though cybersecurity is important for network data and application security, to protect your computer from the unwanted users, cybersecurity is very essential. Communication security, protecting organization communication, media, technology, and content. Network security is the protection of networking components, connection, and content. To secure your network security is essential. Information security, protection of information and its critical elements, including the systems and hardware that you store and transmit the information. So, information security that means the protection of your information which is on your computer. For that, information security is needed. Next, cybersecurity involves the protection of sensitive personal and business information through prevention, detection, and response to different online attacks. Cybersecurity actually prevent from attacks. Now, privacy policy, as you are well aware of the term privacy policy. So before submitting your name, email, address on a website, look for the site's privacy policy. Privacy policy is a term where you have the option of agree and disagree. When you just agree this, that will proceed further. So whenever you log into a new site or open a new website, there is privacy policy. So we should read that privacy policy and then only we should move forward. Keep software up to date. If the seller reduces patches or the software operating system, your device install them as soon as possible. So we should keep the software up to date so it's enabled for the thieves to guess the password and to enter our system. So we should keep our software updated always. Disable the remote connectivity. Some PDAs and phone are equipped with wireless technologies, that means Wi-Fi such as Bluetooth, that can be used to connect to other device or computer. You should disable these features when they are not in use. Whenever you are using these features, use them and just disconnect them, because it just give your information or location information to the third party. Now we'll see the advantages of cybersecurity. The cybersecurity will defend us from the critical attacks. It helps us to browse the sites, website. Internet security process all the incoming and outgoing data on the computer. It will defend us from hacks and viruses. Application of cybersecurity used in your PC needs update every week. So as it needs the update every week, it will defend us from hacks and viruses. Then it will helps to browse the sites and websites. Now we'll see the tips for the browsing the internet. First is that we should use caution. That is, we should experienced internet users can track others. That we know that some internet users, they are hackers, so they can track others. Not just friends' home pages. The web is cached and archived. People download files, assume posted could be accessible forever. The third party or the hacker can access your personal information, so we should be careful about that. We should be careful about posting photographs and our information so that the third party cannot hack your computer or cannot access your personal information. So we should be careful about that. Now on the social networking, we should not talk to strangers. We should not post the proactive content, as I have told you, the pictures, blogs, comments. Don't identify yourself or give your personal information, location, or schedule. When available, user network safety suggestion and built-in safety features. think, use good judgment, be responsible for action. So we should always think and put information on the internet nowadays, because it is very dangerous to put the information or our pictures on the social networking sites. Example like MySpace and Facebook, like millions of users are there, they free to join and serve. Some problems are dangerous people, relatively few incidents, take steps to reduce risk. Now protect your computer. We should always use an virus protection or antivirus. We should install firewall, select items online, call 800 if available. Don't leave your computer connected online when you are not using it. Just disconnect it and go and do whatever thing you are doing. Now, we should be careful while online. Don't give out your address, phone number, and city. Give out only limited non identifying info. Never open .exe files because they generally contain virus, so that's why don't open the exe files. Now, meeting new people online, like others may not be truthful, may have different agendas. The people can lie and act badly. Time online does not equal trust and understanding. Now we'll study about the cybercrime. So, the former descriptions were computer crime, computer related crime, or crime by computer with the preservation of digital technology. Some new terms like high technology or information age crime were added to the definition. Also, internet brought other terms like cybercrime or the net crime. You have heard many times the cybercrime, the name. Now we'll study what it is. Other forms include the digital, electronic, virtual, IT, high tech, and technology enabled crime. So, first we'll see the history of cybercrime. The first recorded crime took place in 1820. This is not surprising considering the fact that the abacus, which is thought to be the earliest form of a computer, has been around since 3500 BC. In India, Japan, and China, the era of modern computer, however, began with the analytical engine of Charles Babbage. The first spam email took place in 1976 when it was sent out over the ARPANET. The first virus were installed on an Apple computer in 1982 when a high school student, Rich Skrenta, developed the EIK cloner. Now we'll see the categories of cybercrime. We can categorize cybercrime in two ways. First, the computer as a target, that means using the computer to attack other computer like hackers, virus, bombs, DOS attacks. So these the computer as a target. Now next, computer as a weapon, using the computer to commit the real world crime, cyber terrorism, credit card fraud, and pornography, etc. Now we'll see the types of cybercrime. First is hacking. Hacking is a simple term, means an illegal intrusion of a computer system or network. That means someone can hack your system, or someone can keep an eye on your personal information and give your information to the third party. That means hacking your system or hacking your information. And it is also known as cracking. That is, government websites are the hot targets of the hackers due to the press coverage it receives. Hackers enjoy the media coverage. Now, motive behind the crime called hackers. That motive behind the crime is greed, power, publicity, revenge, adventure, desire to access forbidden information, destructive mindset, wants to sell network security services. Now, the denial of service attacks. This is an act by the criminals who floods the bandwidths of the victim network or fills his email box with spam email, depriving him of the service he is entitled to access or provide. Many DOS attacks, such as ping of the death or teardrop attacks. There are many DOS attacks. That means you receive various emails known as spam emails, which you open and just a virus enters in your computer. This is the DOS attacks. Now virus dissemination. Malicious software that attaches itself to other computer. Virus, bomb, Trojan horse, web jacking, email bombing, etc. All these items just enter your computer and just destroy your information or damage your information or damage your files. This is virus dissemination. Now, computer vandalism, damaging or destroying the data rather than stealing or misusing them, is called cyber vandalism. We just the data or damage the or destroy the data by stealing or just misusing them. So these are the programs that attach themselves to a file and then circulate. It enters through a file and then circulate to the whole computer and it damages the hard disk. This is the computer vandalism. Now, cyber terrorism. Terrorist attack on the internet is distributed by denial of services attacks, hate websites, and hate emails attacks on service networks. Now, the software piracy. Theft of the software through illegal copying of the genuine programs of the counterfeiting and distribution of products intended to pass for the originals. So whenever you can hear the pirated movies came, so that means it's the copy of the original movie which comes before the movie releases on the theater after the movie. So that is not the genuine or original print. So this is the piracy of the movie. This is, and likewise the software also comes. So this is the software piracy. Now, spoofing. The word spoof means to trick or deceive. Therefore, in the IT world, spoofing refers to the tricking or deceiving the computer system or other computer users. This is typically done by hiding one's identity or faking the identity of another user on the internet. Like someone chats you, like someone does the chatting with you with another name, and actually the real person's identity is another name. So that means it's spoofing. This is spoofing can take place on the internet in several ways, like email spoofing, IP spoofing, fake identity, as I have told you. Now we'll see about the credit card fraud. When an individual uses another individual's credit card for personal reason, while the owner of the credit card and the card user are not aware of the fact that the card is being used. That means normally the card stealing. If someone steals your card, if someone just accesses your card without your permission, that is known as the credit card fraud. The problem occurs while using online banking and shopping. Now we'll see the safety tips about the cybercrime. That means you should use antivirus software, you should insert firewalls, you should uninstall the unnecessary software. You should always maintain a backup of your files, of your information, whatever you have. You should check security settings day by day. Now we'll see about the cyber stalking. Cyber stalking is the use of internet or other electronic means to stalk or harass an individual. Stalk means you should anyone who keeps an eye on you every day or your every move on computer. So that is the cyber stalking. It may include false accusation, monitoring, identity theft, threats, solicitation for sex, or gathering information that may be used to threaten or harass. So anyone who's keeping an eye on you or keeping a record of your personal information or anything, or stalking you or harassing you, so that is the cyber stalking in the terms of electronic media, in the terms of computer. Now we'll see the effects of cyberstalking. The placing victim at risk of psychological trauma. Whenever someone just watches your moves, so you just get disturbed. Then shock and disbelief, changes in sleeping and eating patterns, physical and emotional reactions, nightmares, anxiety, helplessness, fear for safety. Now we'll see the types of the cyber stalker. First it is vindictive cyber stalker. They are noted for the ferocity of their attacks. Next is composed cyber stalker. Their only motive is to annoy. Next is intimate cyber stalker. Their attempt is to form a relationship with the victim but turns on them if rebuffed. Next is collective cyber stalkers. That means they are in group with some particular motive. Now we'll see about malware. Malware is a malicious software that gets installed in your device and perform the unwanted task. It is mainly designed to transmit the information about your web browsing habits to the third party. Now there are various types of malwares you can see: viruses, Trojan horse, spyware, adware, and worms. Now first we'll see what is virus. A computer virus is a program, script or macro designed to cause damage, steal personal information, modify data, send email, display messages or some combination of these actions. That means it can steal your data, it can cause damage to your computer program, it can just modify your data without your consent, it can send email, it can display some messages or any combination of these. A computer virus is much like a flu virus. It is designed to spread from host to host and the ability to replicate itself. A computer virus can automatically just spread itself in the computer, and it can also replicate itself. It can also make a copy of itself. Similarly, in the same way that viruses cannot produce without a host cell. Now we'll see first virus, that is boot sector virus. From a user perspective, boot sector virus are some of the most dangerous virus. That means they infect the master boot record. They are notoriously difficult to remove, often requiring a full system format. They typically spread via removable media. So whenever you insert a pen drive, so that this boot sector virus enter your computer, and this cannot be easily removed. You have to just format your computer if this virus enters your computer. So always just scan your pen drive while inserting it, and then only proceed further. Next is direct action virus. Direct action is one of the two main types of file infector virus. That means it works by attaching itself to a particular type of file. It enters to a computer with the help of a file. When someone executes the file, it springs into life. When someone just executes that file which has this kind of virus, the virus just starts and looking for other similar files in the directory for it to spread it, and this virus just starts, and when it looks the same file as this other file, so it just spreads to the other files also, and likewise the virus just spreads to your computer. Next is resident virus. They are the primary type of file infectors. They install themselves on a computer, and it allows them to work even when the original source of the infection has been eradicated. That means the original source have been deleted, then also they will stay in your computer. That's why they are known as the resident virus, which always stay on your computer. Next is Trojan horse. A Trojan horse, commonly known as a Trojan, it's a type of malware that disguises itself as a normal file or program to trick users into downloading and installing malware. A Trojan can give a malicious party remote access to an infected computer. So a Trojan virus just enters your computer and just as a normal file. It will not look as virus, it will not do any harm, but it is a virus, and it's just trick users. Now we'll see what is spam. A spam is everywhere, and internet-based communication technologies which evolve so do the method unscrumptious individuals use to send you advertisement. You can see some message pops on your website, on any website you open, that these are the spam messages. Spam calls also you receive on your phones. So when you hear the word spam, your immediate thoughts to go on more well-known and common form of spam, that is email spam. In the email also you can check there are many spam emails which has no information of the user, only spam user is written, only spam email is written over there. Now worms, malicious program that make copies of itself on local device. They make the working of your device slower. They just make your working of your device slower and make the copies of itself. They are worms. Now the spyware. Spyware means anyone is spying on you. Anywhere, anyone is watching on your information on your computer, and it also gets installed without the user's permission. It just transmits your information to the third party. It just steals your information, what you are doing on the internet, what you are performing the task. It just gives the information to the third party. That means someone is spying on you. So this is the spyware. Next is phishing. Phishing is just one of the many frauds on the internet trying to fool people with the parting with their money. Phishing means just stealing your money, just getting your money. And phishing refers to the receipt of the unsolicited emails of the customer or financial institution requesting them to enter the username, password, and other personal information to access account for some reasons. So to access their account for some reason, you enter all the details. Then they just ask your OTP. Then they just transfer your money to their account. So this is known as the phishing. Now, for all these, you should install antivirus in your computer. So, antivirus is a protective software designed to defend your computer against the malicious software. Malicious software or malware attacks includes viruses, Trojan, keyloggers, hijackers, dialers, and other codes that vandalizes and steals your computer code. In order to be an effective defense, your antivirus software need to run in the background at all times. Antivirus should be active at all the times. Whenever you insert a disk or whenever you just download a file, antivirus should be active all the time, scanning your device. And you should keep updated your antivirus software. Next solution is the firewalls. They are the barriers placed between your private network and the internet. All incoming and outgoing traffic must pass through it. All the files you download, that the firewalls must check it and then pass through your computer, and it also control the in and out of your computer. Now the firewall cost ranges from no cost to $100,000 hardware software system, and the types are the router based firewalls, host based firewalls, and circuit gateways. Thank you. That's all for today.